And welcome everybody. Wow, back again. It's quite amazing, isn't it? What is happening to the world? Oh man, oh man. Anyway, welcome. It looked like it only started a little bit later, but I was too quick drinking my cup of tea. It's morning here in Holland, Amsterdam. Well, in Haarlem, which is close to Amsterdam, and drinking a cup of tea. Wow, what a life, man. It's so quiet. I live on the 11th floor and I look outside, hardly any cars on the street. Doomsday. But anyway, even if it's doomsday, we need to look at the precepts. So for me, the precepts are such an important element. And when we look at the precepts, do not anger, do not worry, I think it's such an important element, particularly nowadays. I was in the UK in the weekend and it was still all fine. I taught a Reiki 3 class. It was fantastic. We wanted to go to the restaurant on Saturday evening. It was booked. It was full. Everybody was out and about. And, I think sometimes we get so worried and so caught up in all these worry. And then, of course, when we worried that there is no food or other things, no money, etc., then the side effect of that is that most of the time we do get angry as well. So it's a really interesting time at the moment, and this is why it's so important to make sure that we've been practicing. If we only start to practice now when we do get sick or when we feel really overwhelmed by everything, then we don't have a base, we don't have a foundation. But actually, if we have been practicing before shit hits the fan, and shit always hit the fan, like nowadays, for example, then we have at least something solid to fall back upon. So make sure you keep practicing, not just hands-on healing, but also really working with the mantras and the symbols. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of people, when we only focus on hands-on healing, we go to bed and we put our hands on ourselves and then we fall asleep, and the next morning we say, oh man, I did a really great hands-on healing session. But actually you were just sleeping. So, and this is really important. Traditionally, when we did hands-on healing in Japan, you would just do hands-on healing sitting in seiza. So no sleeping, being really, really focused. And most important is being really, really focused. Now, why do we get worried? Right? We think about the future. And so we're not really in the present moment. Why do we get angry? We think about, yesterday or what happened a few minutes ago, and we do get angry. So therefore, it's really important to nowadays specifically, but ultimately every day, right, to embody those precepts. And how do we embody those precepts? Again, sit on our butt. Do our meditation practice. Joshin Kokyoho, for example, really important to breathing down into the hara, really feeling centered, really feeling grounded. That support within yourself. That groundedness, etc., doesn't really come from outside, that you really need to find that within yourself. Of course, you can ask for outside help, but that is not always available, particularly if you have to be by yourself in your house. It's really tricky. So make sure that you really learn how to center yourself within yourself. I used to live in a forest for a long time, maybe 19 years, 18 years. And I moved to Holland, and now I live on the 11th floor. There's a beautiful park out here in front of the apartment building. And someone said a while ago, I said, oh, Frans, now every day you have to go out to walk into the park to get grounded. And I said, well, yeah, that's all good and well, but the grounding is really inside of you. If every day I have to go outside to find a grounding outside of myself, of course, going outside in a park will help, but I have to be grounded on the 11th floor. So where can I do that? It's really deep inside of myself. So it's really important that we learn that. And, and that we do not therefore get carried away with the anger and worry. And we also have to ask ourselves, and this is what I like about the precepts. If you think about the precepts, how we think about do not anger, do not worry, be grateful, be true to your way and your being, and be compassionate, then the precepts are also saying how to preserve your energy, right? Ask yourself, if you've been worried the whole day, do you feel tired at the end of the day, or do you feel that you have a lot of energy? Probably you feel really tired. If you've been angry all day, do you feel energized at the end of the day, or do you feel really tired? Probably you will feel very tired. So why? Because you spend all your energy on worry and anger. So therefore, it's really important to maintain your energy, right? The precepts are all about maintaining your energy and your balance. So if I have enough energy within myself and you get a virus, whatever that may be, or sick, or outside situations change, you can't work, or you're not allowed to go to work, or you have to stay inside, then at least you have preserved your energy to deal with what is happening in your daily life. So therefore the precepts are not just something on the wall, that way, there, in Japanese, but really to find something in your mind, right? Of course, we can also say the precepts need to be in your heart, but sometimes, the heart gets a little bit emotional, isn't it? We all think about love, and then we also have a lot of love issues. So heart is great, but it needs to be heart-mind, right? Because if we're still attached to all these emotional love heart stuff, then again, we do get worried, we do get angry. So it has to be really clearly in our state of mind. And this is a really important element for ourselves, for healing. And there also, therefore, when we go outside, I was in the elevator yesterday with 2 young kids. We were just laughing, actually. And it was really nice because I'd been out in the street and in the supermarket, and everybody seems to be worried. And and then, of course, they're all collecting these trolleys full of stuff. And they don't care about other people. I mean, this is another really important element. We don't need to hoard food. And what we need to do is actually just go to the supermarket, get what we need, and come back. We don't need 500 toilet rolls sitting in our cupboard. I lived in India for 2 years, and for 1 year I lived in Darjeeling. Sometimes there was no water for a week. Sometimes there was no toilet paper. Sometimes they closed the whole town down due to political circumstances. And this is how you learn how to live. We have so much stuff. We're so fortunate in our modern world. And if you look at Africa, for example, or certain countries where people hardly have any food, then we're still so lucky. But we have to really find it within ourselves so that we actually can share. Give those toilet rolls away if you have enough, right? Share them through your apartment building. Go to your neighbor. It's okay. And I think this is such an important element, that we just remember our stability and therefore remember our love and compassion and be kind to each other. This is so important. Of course, sometimes we feel overwhelmed. That is quite naturally, particularly when we don't know what's going to happen. But stay sane. If we all run around like chickens without a hat, like that, then we can't help anybody, right? The only way we can help people if we soften our anger, soften our worry, be grateful, we're being true to our inner being, and we're being compassionate to ourselves and others. And compassion to yourself doesn't mean hoarding toilet paper. It means actually sit down on your butt and find that center within yourself so that you do not get angry and worried when shit hits the fan. And I think this is why the system of Reiki is so wonderful. Of course, any kind of system is wonderful. And here's another thing, a lot of people are sending healing towards the world. What is great, don't get me wrong, but most important, first of all, you are the world, you are the universe. And if we don't really sit on our own butt to practice, then that sending to the world all is externalized. We first need to find it within ourselves. I love this Taoist quote. If you want to see happiness in the world, you need to find this happiness within yourself, right? Or actually, it's more complicated, but here's the whole thing. If you want to see a happy world, you need to have a happy country. If you want to have a happy country, you need to have a happy county. If you want to have a happy county, you need to have a happy city. If you want to have a happy city, you need to have a happy family. If you want to have a happy family, you have to find that happiness within yourself. First of all comes yourself. You are the universe. So this is also really important. Of course, distance healing to the planet, etc. is great. But if we still feel a lot of anger and worry on ourselves, then that is already affecting so much. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So imagine, we all know that someone who walks into the room and is angry, we can feel it. So it means that our anger has an effect on the community. But if you see it more globally, it has an effect worldwide. And this is why all of these things ultimately happen in the world. If we think about heaven on earth, what is that heaven on earth? When we all feel inside that happiness and joyfulness, and that will have an effect on everything around us. We're made of earth, water, fire, air, and space. So therefore, really important that we find a balance within ourselves, within that earth, water, fire, air, and space. And that automatically will have a ramification on the world outside of you. So this is a really important element. But yeah, do keep sending healing to the world, which is great. But most important, find your own balance. If I still feel angry and worried and I'm going to send some healing to the world and it's infused with anger and worry, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not really helpful. First of all, yourself, that you feel balanced, happy and open and centered. And then automatically that will have an impact on the world. And the world is not something separate from yourself. Thich Nhat Hanh, beautiful teacher, calls it interbeing. What means we're all interconnected with each other. My actions will have an effect on everything else. And this is something we really need to realize, particularly in times like this. But most of all, we need to realize it every day. We should have realized it already before all of this started, so that we don't panic, we don't get worried, we don't hoard stuff, and we can be compassionate to people in our local community. I saw a beautiful note yesterday in the elevator. If anybody needs help with shopping or childcare or whatever, contact this number. I thought it was great. I thought actually maybe I should sit in the elevator today. There's a little seat there and just keep chanting some precepts or some mantra, whatever. Whoever comes into the elevator gets a little chanting session, or maybe put a note on the elevator that the door is open and you can sit 5 meters away if you're scared, and just do some chanting and people can benefit from it. But most important is, of course, we can, go outside of ourselves, and ask for help. This is really important. But make sure you help yourself. Really sit down, start to practice. No matter if it's yoga, tai chi, qigong, all of that. All of this self-practice, particularly when we sit down on our butt, strengthens our immune system. Why? Because we stop getting angry and worry. So anyway, that was enough for me to chat. And I thought maybe, you know what? I will chant the precepts for you for a little bit. And so sit back, relax, and enjoy. I will do this in Japanese. And for me, the chanting the precepts, it's great to have them on the wall. And it's great to repeat them 3 times a day, what some people say. But we all know that is not enough, right? If that was enough, then I would print out the precepts here in Dutch. I go downtown, hand out, and say, everybody, just recite them 3 times a day, and you have no more anger, no more worry, no more fear. You be grateful for the rest of your life and compassionate to yourself and others for the rest of your life. But we all know it doesn't work that way. I was at a Japanese Shingon temple the other day, and we were asked to do some chanting. And in the chanting leaflet they gave us, there was a mantra, and it said behind it 3 times, to chant it 3 times. And we sit there and we start to chant, and the priest who was leading the chant comes finally to this mantra, 3 times chanting, and we chanted it instead of 3 times for 20 minutes. Man, it was so powerful. So remember, it's not just 3 times. And on the wall, it's great, it looks beautiful there, but it needs to be in your mind to have an effect on everything around you. So, therefore, really important. And therefore, I will now chant a little bit of precepts. So, sit back, enjoy, set your intent for healing or reiju or spiritual blessing, whatever intent you set. Feel that deep interconnectedness and see what happens. So first, put your butt nice and firmly on the chair or wherever you're sitting on. Sit straight. Take a couple of deep breaths into the hara, just below your belly button. It's the center of your body. So when we feel centered, we do get less angry and worried. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. Yorake wa ikaruna shinpai suna kansha shite gyo hakeme ito ni senzetsu ni. 行だけはいかるな心配すな感謝して行あけめとに親切に行だけはいかるな心配すな感謝して行あけめとに親切に行だけはいかるな心配すな感謝して行あけめとに親切に行だけはいかるな心配すな感謝して行あけめとに親切に行だけはいかるな心配すな感謝して行あけめとに親切にNow take a deep breath into the hara, again, just below your belly button. That center, feel that groundedness, that centeredness. So these kind of tools are absolutely wonderful for helping yourself to stay centered and sane so that you don't get distracted by all this wild stuff out there. So look after yourself, and hey, I might do another few of these live sessions and a little bit of chanting in the next few days. Hey, nowhere to go. Anyway, enjoy yourself. I'm going to have a cup of tea and see if I can score an extra toilet roll. Mine, I think, is by the neighbors. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.